Okay, I want to give you a bit of an overview of what I'm looking for in terms of the lab for Tuesday, October 11th. This shouldn't take as long as a normal lab, but I just want to get some of this stuff started so that next week when we meet again, we're going to do another dry lab. We're going to complete these things, but I wanted you to be prepared to do this so that we're not trying to all fit that into the following week, so we can start some of this process on our own and then complete it the following week. So just a couple things, the lab report is not due next week, Tuesday. That is not due Tuesday, and that would be looking for the date, the 18th. So your lab report is not due on the 18th. We will work on that on the 18th. We'll start working on your lab report, and I'm going to hand back your other lab reports to you so that we can see what was missed and then address those problems and create a better lab report for this next time. But it's not due next week, so I wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. But this is going to be due at the end of the day on Tuesday. These little things that I'm asking you to do. So I want you to watch the 45-minute lecture that's linked here in this spreadsheet, but it's also in Blackboard in the lectures/videos area for chapter 4. So this is the intro to chapter 4, and it talks about these double replacement reactions that we're going to be doing. So watch that first, even before this video. That this should already be done. Now we're going to watch this. This is the video that I'm talking about here. I haven't linked it yet because I'm currently making it in the file that you find. That video link should be here. I want you to complete the following chart and then upload your completed chart to Excel. So this is the page I want you to complete. I have reaction set 1, reaction set 2, reaction set 3. I want you to fill out reaction set 4 and then any of the additional other reactions that you might have completed that weren't listed here. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to show you this first example. What we're going to do here, this is all set up. You're going to have to type in your reactants here. So there are different groupings. We have iron chloride, potassium phosphate, and underneath there are these little blocks of open space so that you can fill in. What is the cation for iron chloride? It's going to be Fe +3, and then the chlorine is going to be a -1. So you don't have to worry about the superscripting, or you can do that in Excel if you want to. You can highlight this, and then you can go here to that little thing, and then go to superscript. You can do that. I'm not worried about it. It's not probably worth your time. I can understand what you're doing here as well. But if that helps you organize your thoughts, you want to do that, go right ahead. But what I'm having you do is I'm going to have you break these apart into these little ions here. PO4, that's a polyatomic. I'm going to put brackets around it so I can tell the difference between the atom part and the charge part. That's going to be a -3 based on that 3 there. So now I can go through, and then I'm going to switch these. So cation A is iron chloride, so that's iron +3. Anion B is here, PO4. Cation B is here. I'm going to just cut and paste that. And then anion A is here, copy, paste. And then I glue these back together to figure out the products. So I'm iron, PO4. Now the subscripts would be 3 and 3, but remember for ions, we want to take the lowest number ratio, right? So I can divide the 3 and 3 by 3 and I get 1. So that's why I would just have iron phosphate, and then KCl would be my other compound. And this part here, this is where we would decide, was there a precipitation? Did something happen? And you would be able to write yes or no. So that would just be yes or no. Did this reaction happen or not? That's all I want you to do. Don't worry about the state yet here. We don't need to worry about the state. We'll talk about that next week. But if a precipitation or something reacted in this reaction, put a yes. If it didn't, put a no or a Y or an N, just to distinguish that. And then we'll use this sheet next week. Once you have this filled out for all of these, yes, for all of these, then I want you to upload this to Blackboard, and this will be graded for your lab grade this week. So I want you to complete this and then upload it. Do not worry about the states yet. You'll notice that these are all aqueous. They should have been all in homogeneous solution in the aqueous state. So these are all aqueous. And then if there was no reaction, just as a preview for what's going to happen, I have no idea what just happened to my file. Just as a preview, if there's no reaction, these would be aqueous as well. If there's a precipitation, then we don't know which one it would be. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to fill out all the cations, A's and B's for the reactants and the products. And then for the products, you're going to have to put these back together as products in these rows and these columns, and do this for all of these elements and upload this to Blackboard. In the second page, we're not doing anything with this, but this is where we will look at next week. We'll be completing this file, and then we're going to start to figure out when potassium and chloride come together, are those going to precipitate or not precipitate? What's going to happen here? We're going to make this sheet sort of similar to what I showed you in that video that you're watching. So we're just using our class data to figure out these different things. And again, I'm not super worried about those subscripts or superscripts, but you can change those in Excel by going to the font and selecting those things. So that's what I'm going to have you do. Don't worry about this sheet again. We're going to fill that out next week. Save your file in a file format. I always recommend putting your last name on it just so you know what it is and then what the file is for. So your last name, so I can identify that it came from you, and then the whatever lab, replacement lab, or however you want to name it. Save that. You're going to bring this back to lab next week, and we're going to use this. Hopefully that helps you describe. If you have any questions during the lab, I will be around during the lab. You just send me an email, or we can set up a Teams chat meeting. I will just be at home, and I'm just trying to get us started on this lab so we don't get super far behind. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.